Hey kiddos, well we got 14 DIYs to do, so we're going to go pretty quick today. The first one I've gone is a tabletop sign that stands on its own, and it's made with the big wooden tag shape. They had these at Valentine's Day, and I got a few of them. I showed them in my haul. So the first thing we're going to do is remove that bow and the string. And then I took one of these Dollar General signs that was from Valentine's Day. It was the truck, and I only used the base. I know I'm going to paint the other here in a minute, but I only used the base. So I put E6000, and I also put hot glue for that quick hold in there, but the E6000 is for the long haul. So I took it and I put it in there, and then in the back, I've already done this, but I added the little cubes so that it would have more stability. Now I got these flat beads, and I'm adding them, and I'm just trying to decide where I'm going to put them. Of course, y'all know I'm going to add white chalk paint to everything. And then I'm going to cut a stencil out that I made on my Cricut. Now, if you have a Cricut, I will leave the link for you so that you can go to Cricut and get that for free and recreate it if you want. The back of it, I am going to cover with paper at the end. So there you go. You can see that I've got the stencil on there, and I'm pulling it off. And I did use Oracle vinyl on there as my stencil. I've never bought the stencil product because I always just use the Oracle for my stencil. Now I got the sponge dauber, of course, from Dollar Tree, and the paint is the color Pool, and that is the Waverly chalk paint. And I just completely cover it, all one color. And now this is going to take the paint off when I pull the Oracle on there. It's going to pull the white paint off a little bit. But what that does is it kind of gives it an already sanded look, and I kind of really liked it when it happened. I knew it was going to do it because I had done it on another piece, and I thought it would do more than what I really got out of it. But in the end, I was still satisfied with it. I just took another sanding pad and sanded down more of what I wanted distressed. So there it is. Now then, I'm just touching up where I got the blue where I shouldn't have. And in a couple of places, I thought it needed a little bit of a touch up because I didn't. And then those sanding blocks I got at Harbor Freight. I love Harbor Freight. And I got 10 of them for $5. So that's cheaper than Dollar Tree any day of the week. So they didn't seem to hold together as well as the Dollar Trees, though. So again, you pay for what you get. So this vine that I'm winding around here, I got this in the Easter section at Hobby Lobby. It was $2.99 for the whole roll, and of course it was 40% off. So I just used the hole as kind of the anchor, and I twisted around and tied around the back of itself. Now these flowers all came from Dollar Tree, and I'm just cutting a little and putting them in, and then I decide later on that it doesn't have quite enough greenery, and so I go and pluck the leaves off of some rose bushes that I had in the closet in my flower. Actually, probably some leftover ones is what it was. I believe. And I used those to kind of fill in. Now these purple bushes, they only had 2 of them, and I am so regretting not. If I find some more of these, I'm going to buy them. I'm going to buy 15 of them because I love these things. These are the prettiest flowers for Dollar Tree that I've bought in a long, long time, and I really did love them. So they had they weren't very big, but what they did have was a quality flower. All right, guys, so that was project number 1, and here's the final thing. It turned out beautiful. It's my best one, I thought, of the 15. I mean, I've got a few other extras that I like, but this one was my favorite. Y'all tell me what you think of it. All right, here's project number 2. So I'm going to have to talk really quick. So these were the little Easter bunny bags that you could get 2 for $1. So this is a two for, you could get two for $2 out of this. So I just took some of those rocks, which you could have took rice, you could have took cotton, you could have took whatever, beans, and filled it up. It didn't matter. You know, I was just trying to make something heavy so that it could stand up. So I tie that in a knot, and then I cut the strings off. In a minute, I guess. I'm going to glue the bottoms and make it square so it's more of a round little thing. And then now I'm going to, am I cutting those off? I'm cutting them off. I know I cut them off. And then I'm going to poke them back down in the sack so you can't see them. Okay? And now I'm going to glue the bunny ears so that, well, I'm not either. I guess I'm going to put flowers on there. So I'm going to put the flowers on there, and it just took 2 little pieces and put them on there. I took 2 leaves and then 2 of those little purple flowers and hot glued them in the center. And of course I hot glue the ears down like I was trying to tell you I was going to do a while ago. And then it is done. Da-dun-da-da. Isn't he cute? I love him. So he's adorable, and he's going to go on my tiered tray in my dining room. So this is our third project, and it's just these blocks that I got that look like little books from the Valentine's section at Hobby Lobby. And since they were 75% off this week, I got them for $1.50. All right, so I'm pulling that staple out of there, and it did not want to come out. So this paint color is plaster, and I have to go and look that every time because I want to call it alabaster, but it's plaster. And that's the Waverly chalk paint. I just give it a coat all over. And if y'all hear a motorcycle, it's my little neighbor. He's riding his motorcycle out there. So I cut He Has Risen because for the life of me, I cannot put He Is Risen. It just makes me want to cringe. And I feel like that my old English teacher is going to come back and get me and slap me on the head. So I cannot say He Is Risen. I put He Has Risen. I know it's probably not right, but I just can't do it. So y'all can put He Is Risen on yours. But mine says He Has. So I just get, and I cut that vinyl out on my Cricut. I know I need pills. But anyway, that beaded garland came from no, it didn't come from Dollar Tree. It came from Hobby Lobby. And it was $8.99. And of course I waited till it was 50% off and got it. And so I paid $4.50 for the whole roll. And I think there's 8 foot on it or 6 foot. I can't remember. Anyway, I just wrap it around there, and I'm trying to hide that staple because that staple did not want to come out, and I thought I'd make a great big hole if I kept on, so I just tried to cover it up the best I could with that vine. Now here I am, and I'm painting. I painted the button, the little wooden button, and I painted the ribbon, and I put a little bit on the greenery so just to kind of dull it down or make it match. I'm not sure why I did it. It's something I've always done. I paint flowers, I paint buttons, I paint everything. So I took that boxwood that I got from Walmart. Now that stuff is some good stuff. I paid, I think, 99 cents a bush. And I bought about 10 bushes of it, and I've already used probably 5. So I need to go back and get some more before they sell out of it because it really does make a cute little flower accessory. So what I'm doing right now is I'm getting some twine, and I'm going to tie a knot in my what are those things? Buttons. And I'm going to make me a little bow and put it up there. And so then I just hot glue it in place. And here it is, our third project. So let's start the next one. Well, this is another one of those, if you blink, you're going to miss it. So I got these, and they were 2 eggs in a package from Dollar General. And one had butterflies, and one had bunnies. And so what I did was I just mixed me up a wash of this robin egg blue, poured some robin egg blue in there that I had, and I don't remember the paint because I think I mixed 2 different colors to get it, but it is robin egg blue. Then I just filled the rest of it up with water, so it was more like watercolor than it was paint. And that because the wood is unfinished, it takes it like a stain. So you can't do this technique to something that's varnished, but if it's not varnished and it's not stained already, you can add your own stain in any paint color you want. So I could have done it in white. That's kind of what it's just like a wash. So you can do it in pink, white, yellow, blue, black, whatever. But for Easter, this is what I thought it would be. So I got I had 2 packages of them, and they were $2 for a big egg and a small egg. And so I'm just washing over it, and it was easier. I figured it out real quick. It was easier if I put the things together and then painted them so they could stand up and not lay flat, and they dried a whole lot faster. So the paint to water ratio is about half paint to half water. And if your paint is really thick, you might want to add a little more water than that, especially if it's like a chalk paint. This was just a regular old acrylic paint, some of those 99-cent little bottles. All right, so this is what it looks like in the end. These are going to be great to just sit around all my other big projects. So this is going to be projects 5, 6, and 7. And if you have any questions, please leave them below and I'll try to answer them all. You're going to need 3 of these little shadow boxes that you can get from Dollar General or Dollar Tree. Now, I took this bunny and I got it off of the internet, this image, and I just printed out 4 of them on a page. I copied it from Google over into my Word and did 4 of them so that I could have enough in case I messed it up. Then I just went around the edges, because this is just plain old copy paper, and I tore the edges all the way around. Now I'm going to show you how to do this a little better in the next, in the end video. I'll show you exactly how I did that. But let's just move on for now. We're going to paint all the boxes that plaster color in the Waverly chalk paint, which y'all know how to paint. And I don't, so you just don't watch what I do, just do as I say. You know, I'm going to pull that mother thing on you. Now, these boxes had these clouds and stars on the back of them. They're the ones from Dollar Tree, and I wound up having to put something on the back eventually to cover where I took them off, because it just pulled a big old hole. Now, I'm decoupaging that piece of paper, and I'm going to put it in the box. And then I used the transfer stickers, from Dollar Tree. I cut out Bunny, and I didn't measure out before I laid them down, and so my Y is a little bit crooked, but you know what? That's all right. It kind of gives it character, doesn't it? So I just make me a simple bow, just tie it in a bow like you would, you know, a hair bow. And then I hot glue that on there, and then I'm making it look like it's kind of got like ruffles, or so I cut the tails longer, and then I hot glue them to the box. Then I go and I get me some of that boxwood, and I cut it in little pieces, and I just stick it down in there where I think it'll look good. All right, so I got these 2 sticker sheets from Dollar Tree. One has the bicycle on it, and one has just a flower pictures on it. And what I'm trying to do is just build me up a scene, like you would see on the front of a card that you get from Hallmark or something. And I'm just trying to, you know, make a little scene with it. And you just stick the stickers on top of each other, and that helps you build it up. So these are like dimensional stickers. So it's just not very hard at all. Just stick them where you think it will make it look good. You know, and whatever's your thing. That's kind of how I work this. So I'll go around these, because these are going to go in my kitchen. And of course, you know, everything in there is black and red and white, and that black enamel and red enamel. So I'm going around the edges with black to give it that, you know, enamel look. Okay, well, I'm not satisfied with that in the end, so I'm going to get me some ribbon, and I'm going to wrap it around it, and I'm not going to make a bow on them. I am just simply going to wrap it around the top edge of it, just to give it a little bit of something different. So once you get it to the end, you pretty much don't want it to overlap, because it won't sit up straight. So you need to make sure that you get it right beside each other, but not overlapping, because then it's got a lump and it won't sit straight. That was what I learned when I did it, because I had to redo one of them. And then, you know, I'm just going to do the same thing with a different ribbon but a black one, you know, so it matches, because they kind of matchy together. And so I want to keep them together on that tray, or close to it anyway. And so I'm just going to do the exact same thing, wrap it around, cut it off at the bottom, and then we'll be done with this project. So here's your project, the 3 of them. Well, there's the 2 of them actually. And then here in a minute, I'll show you the bunny one again, if we can get there. I like to video the final product. Can you tell? Okay, so there's the bunny, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that bunny at the last project. All right, so here's project 8. Now this is a little birdhouse, and I got this little birdhouse in the kids section where the kids crafts were. Guess what? They have birdhouses, and you don't have to make your own. But if you couldn't find one, like I couldn't find one that time, then you just go over there to the kids section and get you one and make it. It has all the directions in there, and you can just follow along. I used hot glue and a little bit of that wood glue, just because I knew it wasn't going to be outside. You know, kids, they kind of manhandle stuff, so it might not hold up to that hot glue with them, but it sure worked fine for what I wanted. So I put it all together and just follow the directions on the package. Otherwise, you can just start out with a birdhouse, which would be my preferred method, because that thing, anyway. So I just took some of those. I had a little flower pot that I had painted back in another video that I didn't use. And so I just did a wash on that, just like I did that blue wash. I put some white in there, and I just washed it across, swiped it across that pot. And then I took a baby wipe and wiped it off. Now, I am using, again, that pool in the color from Waverly chalk paint. And I'm just going to paint the whole house. And then I'm going to hot glue it on top of the, I think I did both. I did hot glue and the E6000. I'm loving that tube. So I'm just going to tell you, I've used the far out of it today. Anyway, so I get it on there. I let it cool, cool off. You don't want to mess with it when it's hot. And then I just take some of this burlap jute rope from Dollar Tree, and I'm hot gluing it on the shingles, basically, is what I'm doing. And I put 2 pieces on each shingle so that, because it wasn't quite thick enough. So if you have the thicker twine, that would work better. But since I didn't, I just put 2 pieces on there, and it worked fine. So now I'm just going to make me a little finger bow, except for I'm going to, once I get the bow part on there, I'm going to cut it and cut the strings so that they're not loops, that they're more like a fuzzy fuzzball thing. And this hummingbird I bought at Dollar Tree a couple of years ago. So I hate to do that to you, but it was the only little bird I had, and I'm out of butterflies. So, those butterflies are a little bit too big anyway. But all I did was go around it and paint that hummingbird, because it was bright orange and bright yellow. And I just dulled it down with that that pool blue from Waverly. Now I'm hot gluing the little bow on that I made. And then I've got those little flowers that I had, and I painted them so they would be blue. And I put 2 of each one on there. Now, this is an idea that I got from my friend Kathy Jo, from Kathy Jo's DIY, and she stuck these, I love these little things, she stuck them on flower pots, and made a cute little garland. So I'm going to stick them on there, and then I'm going to paint over them. And then because they're a little bit too shiny, you don't want them to be shiny, but boy howdy do they look cute when you paint them. So I did that so it wouldn't have a rhinestone look, and then I just couldn't get enough of it, so I added it to the roof too. And I just want to say thank you, Kathy Jo, because I love this idea. All right, now I'm going to clip that hummingbird right into, there's like a little stop on the front of it. There you go, you see it? And I just love the way these rhinestones look on this birdhouse. It just kind of jazzed it up a little bit. So let's start our 9th project. First thing you're going to need is one of these mason jars from Dollar General that was $1. And I picked me up several of them because I'm sure I'm going to use them quite a few times this year. So I'm just pulling off those staples and pulling that, well, I guess it was screwed on there. It had little tiny screws. I didn't save them. I saved them, but I didn't use them when I put it back on. I just hot glued it on because you know me. I'm not real sure why they thought they needed to screw them on because they hot glued everything else down so good it wasn't coming off. So then I take the little wire piece off the back too because I ain't going to need it. And I'm not going to use the front side. I'm going to use the back. That's why I'm pulling that off, because I was afraid if I painted it that paper might kind of buckle. But guess what? It was stuck on there so good, it didn't. I just sanded that glue mark off and, of course, painted it the Waverly, I think that's the Waverly White chalk paint. And then I'm going to give it a couple of coats. And then I'm going to take some stamp. Well, I'm going to put it on that metal part. I'm lying to you. So I put some on, then I wipe it off, then put some more back on. Because, you know, that's how I work. So take it on, put it off. There you go. Now then, I got some stamps that I've had for years. And you can tell they've been used a lot. And I know where these came from. They came from Tuesday mornings. But they're just like a swirly swirl. And I just fill up my little stamp pad, my little stamping block with them, and I just go around the whole thing. And I took some brown ink, and it don't matter what kind of brown ink you use, you know, you could put it on there. You could cover yours in plain paper or just leave it painted. You wouldn't even have to do this. This was just a little extra something that I have stamps, so I like to use them. And I put it on there, and then I go and I sand it off, and then I think I'm going to put a little bit more white paint on there, but I don't think I do. I think I changed my mind. I thought I was going to put some on, but by the time I sanded it down and added those stickers came from Dollar Tree. They are having some great stickers. These are dimensional, and then I just take the biggest piece first and lay it down. Well, no, I don't, because then I change my mind. I'm going to do something else with it. What I'm doing is cutting off the flat pieces that were just like a piece of paper extra, and I didn't like it. So I'll take it off and put it somewhere else. See, I'm going to sand it down, and then I'm going to wipe it off with a baby block. I'm going to wipe it off with a baby wipe. Woo! I'm getting out here. It's late tonight. So, all right, see, I'm just wiping it off. Let me change my voice back to normal so people, you know, can stand to watch me. So, I am going to put that sticker back on there, and boop. There you go. And then I'm going to add the little flower pots. Again, this is just how you like it and what looks pleasing to your eye. Now, if you had a little saying to go above that, that would be cute. You wanted to wrap it only with ribbon on the top of it, that would be cute. There's 100 ways to do this. And I don't know. I love recreating something, even if it's even if it goes back the same way. I just like recreating it and giving it my own look. So, you know, it kind of mimics the front, except for these are dimensional stickers, and it gives it just a little bit more oomph. And guess what? It was something for me to craft and say I made. All right, so I've decided I don't want to hang it. So I am going to put these little wooden blocks back there. These come from the craft section, and you get like, I think 15 or 20 of them in one of them little bags. And here I'm going to wrap some jute around the top of it, just a little bit, not much, about 3 wraps, and that was it. Okay, and so then I put them blocks on there, and I don't want that. I want it to stand up on a table or be on my 3-tiered tray. So I'm going to give the back side of it a color. I'm going to paint it white. And then, oh, I forgot I put these little beads on there. So I made these little beads, and they're just those little beads. You can see them up there in the top left-hand corner. They're yellow. I got them from Dollar Tree. They come like yellow, red, and green, I think. Something like that. Really bright colors. And you think, what in the world did you use them for? Well, right here. I'm going to use them right here with these yellow, because the yellows matched. And I just strung 3 on each end of the string. And then I make me a little bow. And I add me some greenery up there. And I put the little bow up there. I put the string as the ties on the bow. And I add the greenery, and then I add the bow. There I go. See, there's the bow. I swear I can put a bow on there. And ta-da! but then I decide I need to paint that back so it don't look funny. So I go ahead and paint it. I recommend you painting it the first time when you have the paint out so you don't have to use 2 brushes and clean them all up again. Now, of course, you're going to have to give it a couple of coats so that it'll be covered good. But this is the end of our project 8. And I loved it. I just thought it was adorable when it got all done. And it's a great little shelf sitter. So here's project number 9. And we're going to use snakes. You heard me, wooden snakes. You need 3 wooden snakes. And you need the smallest loop out of that floral ball. Look at her. She's making those snakes dance. Okay, so you just cut the head and the tail off, and then you'll, of 3 of them, you don't need 4. I cut 4, but you only need 3. And you're going to see me sizing them up here in a minute. You only need the 3rd one. So go ahead and hot glue all 3 of them, the ends together, and make it a circle. Okay, now then I'm going to tell you how to do it and not act like me. Okay, so because I did it wrong, but I'm going to tell you the right way to do it. So you're going to need to wire it on this. There you go. Find the wire. Find the one. There you go. Oh, yay. All right, so I finally figured it out. So you're going to take the little ends off of the hoop, you know, because you only need one of those. And you're going to take the ends off because it has little circles on there so that screw will hold them all together. So then I take me some silver wire. It could be brown wire, it could be green wire, it don't matter. And I'm going to wire those snakes, those wooden parts, to the metal hoop. And I first started with just doing about 8 pieces. Well, that didn't work. I'm just going to tell you it didn't work. So you need to do it every 2 inches to get it stiff enough. The other way you could do it is you could hot glue it on the back to that metal thing. But I didn't think that I wanted all that hot glue up against my wall. So, see, you can see here I'm painting it. And then I decide it still doesn't have, after I get the first little coat. And I'm just dry brushing it. I'm not completely covering it. I'm dry brushing it, that white Waverly chalk paint on there. And look, you can see how it's wavy. So go in there and add you probably 16 or 20 pieces of twine, or not twine, of little metal, thin metal wire, floral wire, that's what it's called, and go all about every 2 inches and put it around that wire hoop, and you'll be a lot happier with it, because then I have to go back here in a minute after I get done. Now I put the distressing stuff on it, and then I put too much, so I go back with some more white and get it back to the white color I wanted. So see how it got too dark? I don't like it like that. I wanted more white in it. You know, I wanted it to be spring. This ribbon I got like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago at Hobby Lobby. It's just a burlap linen ribbon. It's more linen than it is burlap. And I am just making me a 6-loop bow. Now, if you're not going to learn how to make a loop bow from me, I'm just going to let you know. But if you look up on YouTube, you can get 6-loop bow. And that's what you're going to get right there. So first of all, I make my 6 loops, and then I'm going to make me a scatter bow, which is where you take 3 pieces of ribbon and you twist them up and you put them on ribbon. I always stack my bows when I make them. I'm not professional enough to hold all that together, and I don't have one of those bow makers, and I never learned to use them. So I cut me some long tails in both the purple and in the brown, and I stack it up on the back. And I'm going to make me a little loop for the front, and then that has the purple in the front, and then I'm going to wire them all together. So you got 4 pieces all wired together, and then I'm going to wire them onto my loop. Then I'm going to take these beautiful pink and purple flowers. Again, I got these at Dollar Tree, and I am making that look like it's waving in the wind. We don't want it to wiggle, but we want it to look like it could. So that's why I hot glue it to one side. So I just basically took 2 bushes, and I didn't do anything to them besides spread them out and then wire them to the frame, because the bushes, again, were so cute, I didn't need to do anything to them. This one was super simple after I figured out how to get them snakes wired to that frame. And I want to give a shout out to Heidi Sonboul because I got this idea from her using these wooden snakes because she used them on some napkin ring holders, and I thought they were adorable. All right, well, this was super simple. This one is Project 10, and I just took the Gnome Flag that I found in the garden section at Dollar Tree, and I am going to Mod Podge that to a piece of foam core board. This is going to go on my back porch for spring. Actually, maybe going on my garage door because I really thought that would be cute coming in the house because it still does need to be protected, which my back porch is covered and screened in, but I just think it'd probably do better in the garage. So it may just be like when you come in the entryway in the garage. So you Mod Podge that flag down to that hollow core foam board. It's not hollow. It's just foam core board. And I took my little credit card and just scraped it across there through the Mod Podge. Put lots of Mod Podge on there. Lots and lots. Make sure it's wet. And then I just put hot glued ribbon around the edge and used a couple of different kinds. I had some pink and then I had some purple, and that purple kind of went with the last project, so I had it out and I thought I'm going to use it on that. And I thought it turned out pretty stinking cute. So I'm just, I'm going to wrap those ribbon edges around to the back here in a minute after I hot glue it on there. All right, and so then I'm going to just wrap those ends around it, and then I'm going to make it a simple bow. And actually, I made the top first. I forgot. I made just the, so I can hang it up. And so a little hanger on there. And I've made it out of ribbon, and I tied me a knot in the center, and then I trim the edges up. And then I don't like it when I turn it over. It just needs a little bit of something else. So then I add just a simple bow. Not a big deal. And then I put me a flower on it. And the flower I got was way too big. So you see me, I'm tearing it apart until it's the size I want because I didn't have any smaller flowers. And this one was kind of a leftover one and it matched. So, it's always about if it matches. Then I take me one of them yellow beads that I used in another project and I glue that down in the center. And I make that. And then it turned out so cute, and it's going to be awesome in my garage. Now for our 11th project, you're going to need one of these oval discs, 3 of these ceramic eggs that were in the kids section for the kids to paint, and then I'm just putting that blue wash, just like I did them other eggs, them other wooden eggs, and I'm going to put the blue wash on that, and then I'm making me a little twine bow, and I got that twine out of a crafter's square there at Dollar Tree. And just making me a little finger bow. And then I'm just going to tie it to the tops of the eggs. They've got like a little loop on there so that you could use them on a Christmas tree or on a Easter tree. And so that's what I did. And I believe the colors I used were, again, the pool with the Waverly chalk paint, the pink ballet slipper, and I think I used a sage green. Now I'm just going to hot glue them to that oval. And then I'm going to hot glue the boxwood down that I got from Walmart, and I think that's about half a bush, about 6 pieces of it. So now I'm going to put the wash on these eggs, and then I'm going to add some dimensional paints. Then these are ones that you could use. You could use glitter glues. You could use t-shirt paints, because I think that's what one of them is a t-shirt paint, and then the other ones that I use are called Nouveau drops, and it ain't nothing but fabric paint. I'm just going to let you know. It's just the same. So it's not going to be any difference. It's just something I use in scrapbooking. I didn't use that pink in the Nouveau drops. I used the pink in the Scribbles, which is t-shirt paint. And I just start decorating them. Just any kind of pattern I wanted. I don't even think that the 2 of them are the same. So I just go through there and put it on. Following the design. I could have added more if I wanted. I could have painted this thing instead of having to add this. You wouldn't have to do that. You could have covered it in scrapbook paper. There's a million things you could have done to these to make them, stand out. So, well, of course, I lost the footage of where I put these on the back. So, look, I just took those little wooden squares and hot glued them to it and then kind of lopsided them, you know, whatever I wanted look, and glued them together. Now, here's our project 12, I believe. I may have these numbers off. That would be terrible if I had all these numbers off. So, I'm going to decoupage these napkins onto this little crate that I got from Dollar Tree. And the first thing you need to do is, I got these napkins from Dollar General. They only had one side of a 4-piece napkin that had the print on it. So I had to use, normally I'd have probably just had to use one napkin. But in this case, I had to cut them all out. Now you pull the plies apart, and you can see this little happy Easter sign that I got. You pull the plies apart. So these were 2 ply, so I just needed 1 ply. And then I'm lining up the stripes. Now, if you had something like flowers or something like that, you would not have to line it up. But I just thought stripes, you got to line stripes up. And these were the only Easter napkins that I could find that had enough print on them to cover something, which just aggravated the far out of me because I wanted little flowers, but couldn't find them. So we used this. Now I'm just decoupaging this on there, trimming it up where it needs to be. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some more decoupage glue and I'm going to go over the front of it. And I'm going to make sure that I get the edges. And then when the edges get wet, guess what? You can tear that paper off of there and it gives it like a deckled edge. And it's really, really cute to do that. And so that way you're not, having to try to cut the paper just perfect. You can just pull it off because it'll make an almost perfect crease across there. And then I just do the same thing to the bottom, and I completely cover the box in decoupage on the outside. I didn't do the inside. Now I'm going to take this sanding block, and I'm going to go through the grooves because I want the grooves to show. And when I did that, it kind of gummed up because I didn't wait, of course, for it to dry. It gummed up in there, and so then I had to take a little tool and scrape the paper out. But it came out. It's no big deal. So then I just sand around the edges. And now I'm going to hot glue this bunny sign. After I cut it up, I hot glue the bunny part in there. And then I fill all of that up with some Easter grass and some eggs, which I should have done that last. But oh well. So then I think, oh, I'm going to hot glue these eggs on the back of this. I mean, this is how I really craft. Oh, looky here. So then I make me a little sign with it. And there you go. Oh, and I put a little bow on the bunny so I could cover up her hole in her head. Now, isn't she cute? So here is our 14th. I was wrong. That was the 13th. This is 14th. And this one is my favorite. It's my second favorite. So you need a pair of those glasses from Dollar Tree. You need you some kind of sign. This one was from Halloween that my friend Christy gave me. And then I'm drawing around that paper because I'm going to cover the Halloween up on the back. Everybody's been talking about, you got to cover your back, So I'm just going to use paper. Of course, I'm covering this in white Waverly chalk paint. And that printout, again, I got that off of the internet. I just Googled rabbit, Easter rabbit, and I put clip art when I Googled it. And then I found it. I printed it off on regular copy paper and printed it on my color printer. So there I'm taking those glasses and I cut the wings off of them, or the ears off of them, because this bunny has ears. And then I take them to the kitchen and I scrub all the glitter off of it. Now then, I didn't show you how I ripped that bunny up, but I go all the way around the edges on that bunny and rip him all the way around. The other thing that I didn't show you, because my phone keeps cutting off my video, is how I took a pink marker and went all the way around the edge. Now, I did not draw. I let the pink marker slide across the deckled edge or the torn edge of the paper, and it just give it a little bit of pink color around it. Now, you could do black, you could do brown. The glasses, you could have spray painted black because that's the new thing. And then I put Hopster on there with vinyl from my Cricut. Now, you could have used stickers from Hobby Lobby, from Dollar Tree, and they would have been just fine. That ribbon came from Dollar Tree, and it's some of my favorite ribbon. I really do like that ribbon. And then I'm just going to add a ton of boxwood to it. And I probably didn't need as much as I put out there because I just kept adding it. I think it'll look better if I hadn't have put so much on there. But you know me. And those little pink berries, they came from Dollar Tree also. And I think I used 6 of the little berries, 3 on each side. Now I had a heck of a time making up this double bow. Don't even watch me make this double bow because I'm embarrassed by it, and I hope you don't even take my tutorial on how to make a bow because this is crazy. I redid this bow, and I'm not kidding, 4 times. And I cut all of that out, so you're just going to get to see the tail end of it. And I cheated. So that's all I got to say about that. Oh, I hot glued those glasses to that board, if I didn't say that. And they just turned out so cute. I just love those glasses. Now, I could have cut all of those little things off, but I thought that it added to it. I don't know. I like pink, so I wanted them on there. And that's the reason why I didn't paint in black or brown. And then, of course, now I'm just going to start hot gluing all that boxwood down. And I didn't get it close enough is what why I had to keep adding. I should have put the boxwood touching each other and then put the bow on there. But, again, hindsight's 20/20. And, apparently I ain't got enough, so. See, you can see that ink over there to the side. You could use ink or you could use the marker, or you wouldn't have to use anything at all. And you could have just not tore the edges on that bunny and laid it down flat. It would have been fine too. There I go. And I just got her all ready. Well, putting in the little berries. And I think I'm about done. I don't think I showed putting the back on there, but I did put a back on it. And I thought, he's one of my favorites, my little hopster. This video was part of the Heidi Sonboul DIY Easter Challenge, and there's a whole playlist over there on her channel, and I hope that you go over there and visit the rest of the people there. They are so talented. You're going to love it. Now, if you're new here, please subscribe, and if you like my videos, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel so much. Now, for all mine that are returning, I love my crafty crew so much. Have a good weekend.